Exam DOST success का host Sainik Navodaya में topmost.
Welcome everybody to one of the most important section of English grammar, the active and passive voice. Before we start the active and passive voice, it is suggested that students should at least revise once the tenses, because this complete topic is based on application of tenses, their construction and the structure. Let us now move ahead and start the topic voice. Voice is a form of verb. What does it mean by the form of verb? It is that form of verb which will tell us whether in a sentence a subject is performing the action or whether the subject is receiving the action. What does it mean? Let us understand this through an example. Ram reads a book. Here in the sentence, Ram is the subject. Reads is the verb, it is the action word. It goes without saying that reads is a transitive verb. Transitive verbs are the verbs which requires an extra word to complete its meaning, or the verbs which pass on the action from the subject to the object. Understanding in the basic form, reads is a transitive verb, so it will require an extra word, which is a book. Ram reads what? Ram reads a book. So a book is the object here. Precisely, it will be called as object of verb. That is about transitive verb, but here our discussion is voice. If I look at this sentence and when I break it down, Ram is our subject, action is reads, and book is the object. If you look at this sentence and you analyze it, you can see that the subject Ram is reading the book, means he is performing the action. Ram performs the action. So basically, the function of voice is, it will tell us Ram, which is the subject, is performing the action, and vice versa. Suppose if I change this sentence to a book is read by Ram. Now here our subject is a book. Our action is read, and Ram is the object of verb. Now here, if you break this sentence down to subject, the action word and the object of verb, you can see that here in this sentence the subject is not performing the action. Book is not doing the action. Book is being read by Ram. Book, being the subject, is read by the object. So here we can say that the subject is not performing, but the subject is receiving the action. That can be figured out from voice, whether the subject is performing the action or whether the subject is receiving the action. That is the function of voice. It will tell us these two things. Now let us move on to the classification of voice to understand them better. Now let's move to the types of voice. There are two types. First is the active voice. As the word suggests, active means in action. A verb is in the active voice when the subject is the doer of the action. Doer of the action means the subject is performing the action. Let us understand through an example. Manju sang songs. Manju is the subject. Sang is the action or the verb, and songs is the object of verb. Now when we read the sentence and we break it down into subject, verb and object, we can see the Manju, who's the subject in the sentence, is actually performing the action of singing the songs. So whenever the subject will perform the action, whenever the subject performs the action or the subject is active, it is called active voice. Second example they have mentioned, Ramu washes the clothes. Ramu is the subject, washes is the action or verb, main verb, the clothes is the object. Here Ramu is washing the clothes. Ramu is performing the action of washing the clothes. So Ramu is the subject and subject is performing the action. So we can call it's a active voice. एक्टिव वॉइस का मतलब ये होता है कि सेंटेंस में जो सब्जेक्ट होगा वो एक्शन को परफॉर्म कर रहा होगा. सेंटेंस का जो सब्जेक्ट होगा वो एक्टिव होगा, वो एक्शन को परफॉर्म कर रहा होगा, वो डूअर ऑफ द एक्शन होगा. एग्जाम्पल में मंजू सैंग सॉन्ग्स. मंजू ने गाना गाया. मंजू सब्जेक्ट है, एक्शन सैंग है और ये एक्शन मंजू परफॉर्म कर रही है, सब्जेक्ट परफॉर्म कर रही है. सो दिस विल बी called as active voice. Explaining the passive voice. As the term suggests, passive. Passive means the subject is in the passive form, means not performing the action. Says a verb is said to be in the passive voice when its form shows that something is done to the subject or the subject becomes the receiver of the action. Let us understand this through the example. Songs were sung by Manju. Now in this sentence, songs is the subject, sung is the action, the verb, and Manju is the object. Now understand, after breaking this down, understand the subject is songs and the songs were sung means songs are not performing any action, rather the action is being performed on songs. They were sung by the object Manju. सो पैसिव वॉइस का मतलब ये हो गया कि यहां पर सब्जेक्ट कोई एक्शन परफॉर्म नहीं करेंगे, उनके ऊपर एक्शन परफॉर्म किया जाएगा बाय द ऑब्जेक्ट. एक्शन क्या है? संग है. So in the statements where subjects are not performing but they are the receiver of action, उनके ऊपर परफॉर्म एक्शन किया जाएगा, एक्शन को उनके ऊपर परफॉर्म किया जाएगा, और द एक्शन इज डन ऑन द सब्जेक्ट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहां पर सॉन्ग्स कोई एक्शन नहीं परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं, सॉन्ग्स के ऊपर एक्शन परफॉर्म हो रहा है, संग का एक्शन परफॉर्म हो रहा है, तो ऐसे हम बोलेंगे पैसिव वॉइस. Second example, the clothes, subject, are washed, action, or the verb, and Ramu is the object. In this sentence, the subject clothes are not performing the action, but the action is being performed on them of washing. Washing का जो action है वो clothes के ऊपर perform किया जा रहा है, और ये एक्शन ऑब्जेक्ट परफॉर्म कर रहा है. ऐसे सेंटेंसेस जहां पर सब्जेक्ट के ऊपर एक्शन किया जाएगा या एक्शन सब्जेक्ट एक्शन को रिसीव करेंगे, उसे हम बोलेंगे पैसिव वॉइस. सो इन द गिवन टू एग्जांपल्स, वर संग एंड आर वॉश्ड आर इन द पैसिव वॉइस. Now let us discuss further the rules of changing an active voice to passive voice. First we will discuss the general rules, and then we will talk about the rules based on tenses. The first rule says the subject of the verb in the active voice becomes the object of the verb in the passive voice, and vice versa. Vice versa means the object will become the subject. So subject will become the object and object will become the subject. However, there are some more changes in the verb, but here we will understand how the subject is converted to object in passive voice and how the object is converted to the subject. To understand this, let us take an example. A girl painted a picture. Now here in this sentence, a girl is the subject, painted is the action or the verb, and a picture is the object. Now in this sentence, the girl is painting the picture means the girl is performing the action. So we can say the subject is performing the action, so it is an active voice. And to convert this sentence, which is in the active voice right now, to a passive voice, the object will become the subject. Bring it in the beginning of the sentence. So it will start with a picture. Maintain the tense. Painted is the past tense, so a picture will be followed by was. We'll discuss the change of tenses or the change of helping verb in detail as we proceed. So a picture will be followed by was because it is a sentence of past tense. Then write the verb painted by the girl. Now here you can see in the first sentence a picture was the object, and in the second sentence it becomes the subject. In the active voice, the subject was a girl, which becomes the object in the second sentence. The verb remains the same. We have to maintain the helping verb, so we have added was, and we have added a preposition by. We will discuss this why we have added the preposition why. A girl is changed to the girl, a girl here possesses a indefinite article, but in the second sentence we are talking about this girl, so we have used the definite article the. And now you can see that in this sentence a picture, which is the subject, is the receiver of the action, or the action is being performed on the subject. The picture is getting painted by the girl. So here we can see the object is performing the action on the subject. So this is a passive voice. Summarizing this point, that during the conversion of an active voice to passive voice, the subject will become the object. Why it is the object? Because it is giving a complete meaning to the verb. So it will be object of verb. So subject will become object, and the object in the first sentence in the active voice, which was a picture, becomes the subject in the passive voice. Concluding this, conversion of subject to object will be the first step for converting active voice to passive voice, and object to subject will be another keynote in this. एक्टिव वॉइस को पैसिव वॉइस में कन्वर्ट करने का हमारा जो पहला रूल है वो ये है कि एक्टिव वॉइस में जो सब्जेक्ट होगा वो पैसिव वॉइस में ऑब्जेक्ट बन जाएगा, और एक्टिव वॉइस में जो ऑब्जेक्ट होगा वो पैसिव वॉइस में सब्जेक्ट बन जाएगा. दिस इज द फर्स्ट रूल. यहां पर अ गर्ल पेंटेड अ पिक्चर में अ गर्ल सब्जेक्ट है, पेंटेड एक्शन वर्ड है, वर्ब है, अ पिक्चर ऑब्जेक्ट है. क्योंकि यहां पर गर्ल एक्शन को परफॉर्म कर रही है तो ये एक्टिव वॉइस है, और जब हम इस एक्टिव वॉइस को पैसिव वॉइस में कन्वर्ट करेंगे तो ऑब्जेक्ट अ पिक्चर हमारा सब्जेक्ट बन गया. वर्ब हमने वॉज पेंटेड लगा दिया क्योंकि ये सेंटेंस पास्ट फॉर्म में है, तो हमने हेल्पिंग वर्ब वॉज लगाया है. इसलिए लगाया है ताकि इसकी मीनिंग कंप्लीट हो, सेंस कंप्लीट हो, और हमने प्रीपोजिशन बाय के साथ सब्जेक्ट को ऑब्जेक्ट बनाकर, द गर्ल को हमने ऑब्जेक्ट बनाकर यहां ऐड किया है. इस सेंटेंस में पिक्चर जो सब्जेक्ट है वो एक्शन परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहा, बल्कि एक्शन रिसीव कर रहा है. पेंटिंग का एक्शन उसके ऊपर हो रहा है, इसीलिए ये पैसिव वॉइस है. कंक्लूड करें तो सब्जेक्ट को ऑब्जेक्ट बनाना होगा एक्टिव वॉइस से पैसिव वॉइस के कन्वर्जन में, और ऑब्जेक्ट को सब्जेक्ट बनाना होगा. The second and most important rule, the addition of preposition. In the passive voice, the preposition by is used before the object to give a complete sense to the sentence. Let's understand this through an example. They are playing cricket. In this sentence, they is the subject, are playing is the verb, are is helping verb, playing is main verb, cricket is the object. Now in this sentence, they, which is the subject, is performing the action, so this is the active voice. Now let us convert this active voice to passive voice. Object subject बन जाएगा, so it will start with cricket. Are playing को हमें convert करना होगा is being. In the passive voice, always remember हमें past participle form use करना होता है. Playing का past participle हो जाएगा played, और they को convert कर दिया जाएगा them में. पर प्लेड देम इज नॉट मेकिंग सेंस, इसीलिए हमें प्रीपोजिशन बाय लगाना होगा ऑब्जेक्ट के पहले. इन दिस सेंटेंस क्रिकेट इज द सब्जेक्ट, इज बीइंग प्लेड इज द वर्ब, देम इज द ऑब्जेक्ट. और इस ऑब्जेक्ट को, रादर इस सेंटेंस को एक कंप्लीट मीनिंग देने के लिए हमने प्रीपोजिशन बाय को ऐड किया है. सिंस यहां पर सब्जेक्ट क्रिकेट है वो कोई एक्शन नहीं परफॉर्म कर रहा है, बल्कि उसके ऊपर एक्शन परफॉर्म किया जा रहा है प्ले करने का, तो ये पैसिव वॉइस है. इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट इज एक्टिव वॉइस को पैसिव वॉइस में कन्वर्ट करते समय हमें ऑब्जेक्ट के पहले प्रीपोजिशन बाय लगाना पड़ेगा. क्यों लगाना पड़ेगा? क्योंकि उसे कंप्लीट सेंस देना जरूरी होता है. अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट इज एक्टिव वॉइस को पैसिव वॉइस में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए आप पैसिव वॉइस में वर्ब की हमेशा थर्ड फॉर्म विच इज द पास्ट पार्टिसिपल फॉर्म उसे यूज करेंगे. इवन दो एक्टिव वॉइस में ये कंटिन्यूस फॉर्म में है, पैसिव वॉइस में जब उसे कन्वर्ट किया जाएगा तो वो पास्ट पार्टिसिपल फॉर्म थर्ड फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट होगा. नेक्स्ट, द वर्ब in the active voice is always used in the past participle form of the verbs in the passive voice. Means that in the active voice, whatever may be the verb form, if you are converting it into a passive voice, the verb should be in the past participle form or third form. Let us understand this through an example. The sentence is I write a letter. I is the subject, write is the action or verb, a letter is object of verb. Here I is performing the action, subject is performing the action, so it is an active voice. Converting this to a passive voice, the object, a letter, will become the subject. The sentence is in simple present tense. Why it is in simple present tense? Because it is just an action or just a statement. Even though this is right now in the simple present tense, the verb should be converted to the third form. Write is the base form V1, wrote is the past form V2, the third form V3 is written, and V4 is the present participle which is writing. It is formed by first form of verb plus ing. Some of the books mention this as V4 form. Some of the books just mention it as present participle. So let us come back, convert this sentence to passive voice. My object will become the subject. A letter is singular, so I'll use the helping verb is. The verb write will become past participle, written. Don't forget to add the preposition by before the object, which is me. Now here the subject letter is not performing the action, it is receiving the action, so it is a passive voice. The point here was that the verb will be converted to the पास्ट पार्टिसिपल फॉर्म. तो हमारा वर्ब राइट था वो पास्ट पार्टिसिपल फॉर्म में रिटन में आ जाएगा जब आप एक्टिव वॉइस को पैसिव वॉइस में कन्वर्ट करेंगे. यहां पर एक और चेंज है, हमने आई को मी बना लिया है. प्रीवियस में भी हमने दे को देम बनाया था. प्रोनाउंस को कैसे चेंज किया जाएगा? वी हैव अ टेबल फॉर दैट विच इज अपकमिंग. नेक्स्ट, the number of verb is changed according to the number of persons. Let us understand this. यहां पर मतलब यह है कि वर्ब को अगर सब्जेक्ट सिंगुलर है तो सिंगुलर रखना है, प्लूरल है तो प्लूरल रखना है. Let us understand through an example. She is washing clothes. Now right now this sentence is a present continuous sentence. She is our subject which is in the singular form, and since the subject is in the singular form, the helping verb we have used is. which is in agreement with the singular subject. So here the verb is because our subject is singular, verb भी हमने singular लिया है, यहाँ पर R नहीं है. she के साथ R हम नहीं लगा सकते, she के साथ हमें singular form is लगाना होगा. washing is my verb, so together both of them will be the action part or the verb part. Clothes is the object. This is the active voice because she is performing the action, subject is performing the action. Now when I convert it into passive voice, object will become subject. पैसिव वॉइस में सबसे पहले हम लिखेंगे क्लोथ्स. नाउ क्लोथ्स इज सब्जेक्ट which is in the plural form, and since now our subject of the sentence is in plural form, we have to use the helping verb which is in the plural form. तो हमारा is चेंज हो जाएगा R में. Being. Washing is the V4 form of the verb. We have to convert V4 to V3 or third form of the verb, past participle form of verb, which is washed. So my verb will become clothes are being washed. Add preposition. Convert the subject to object. She will be converted to her. This is the passive voice because clothes are not performing the action, clothes are receiving the action. So this is the passive voice. The point here was कि आपका verb change होगा according to the subject. First एक sentence में subject she था जो singular था, verb is use किया. Active voice में, passive voice में object subject बन गया जो कि अब plural है, तो हमें helping verb are लेना होगा जो कि plural form के साथ match करेगा. Discussing about the change of pronouns in the active versus the passive form. Understand, these are the pronouns which has a different subject and object forms. In the active voice, we will always take the subject form of the pronouns. So I is the subject form and its object form which is used in the passive voice is me. We will be converted to us. They will be converted to them. You will remain same. He will be converted to him in the passive voice. She is converted to her in the passive voice. It remains the same. Very important to learn them when converting the active voice to passive voice. If the subject is the pronoun form, then the pronoun form will be taken in the passive voice as the object form. Now let us understand through the form of tenses the conversion of active voice to passive voice. The first is present tense. In the present tense, the structure of active voice is subject. In the upcoming example, S will denote subject. V1 is the first form of verb plus object. O will stand for object. As we will continue with our discussion, S will stand for subject, O will stand for object. So the construction of present tense active voice is subject plus first form of verb plus object. And if you want to convert this into passive voice form, the object will come first, means it will become the subject, plus helping verb is MR based on the object, whether it is singular or plural. Then past participle or third form of verb followed by preposition by and our subject, which now becomes the object at the end. Let us understand this through an example. She likes mangoes. She is the subject, likes is the first form of verb, mangoes is the object. Now when we convert it into the passive voice, the object mangoes will become the subject. It will come in the beginning, mangoes. Now mangoes is plural, so helping verb will be are. Now comes the verb, which will be taken in the past participle form. The past participle form of verb likes is liked. So likes will become liked. Add the preposition by, and then she, the pronoun she will be, which is the subject now, in the object form, it will be converted to her. Passive voice will be mangoes are liked by her. This construction is very important for you. You have to learn it. Now, after simple present, let's move on to the present continuous tense. If the active voice sentence is in the present continuous tense, the construction will be subject plus is MR based on the subject, then V1 plus ing, which is the present participle form, plus object. Now when you want to convert this sentence, which is in the present continuous form, from active to passive voice, object will become subject, will come in the beginning, followed by helping verb is MR plus being plus third form of verb, past participle form, followed by preposition by and the subject of the active voice. Let's understand through an example. She is reading mails. She is the subject. Is reading is the verb. Mails is the object. Now when we convert it from active to passive voice, now let us convert the sentence in the active voice to passive voice. The object mails will become the subject, will come in the beginning. The subject mails is in the plural form, so it will be followed by the plural verb or plural helping verb are, and after the helping verb add being. The main verb reading will be converted to the past participle form. Right now it is in the present participle form, V1 plus ing form. It will be converted to V3 past participle form, which is read, followed by preposition by, and the subject she, in the object form she, will be converted to her. Passive voice will be mails are being read by her. Next, the present perfect tense. The construction of present perfect tense in active voice is subject, helping verb has or have, third form of the verb plus the object. And for converting this active voice to passive voice, the object will come in the beginning, followed by helping verb has or have, then been, after been past participle form of the verb, followed by preposition by, and the subject will come at the end. Let's look at an example. My mother has baked a cake. My mother is the subject, has baked is the verb, a cake is the object. This is right now in active voice. To convert this into passive voice, object will come in the beginning, so it will start with a cake. Cake is singular, so we'll use has, followed by been. Use the past participle form of the verb baked, which is baked, followed by the preposition by, and at the end comes the subject, which becomes the object, my mother. So the passive form will be a cake has been baked by my mother. Very simple conversion, but you have to memorize or learn the construction. Present perfect continuous tense. By the rule, in the present perfect continuous tense, the active voice and passive voice remains the same. There is no change in the active form to passive form in the present perfect continuous tense. So you don't have to do anything, just keep the sentence as it is. However, let us just once understand the structure of present perfect continuous tense. Now, present perfect continuous tense, the structure is subject plus has or have plus been plus first form of verb plus ing plus the time phrase. So it will remain completely same in the passive voice also. Subject plus has or have plus been plus first form of verb plus ing plus the phrase. There is no change from active to passive voice in present perfect continuous tense. So question can be asked. In that case, just mark the same sentence as both active and passive voice.